Hi, so I've called this tool Authority Engine. So it writes SEO-optimized blog posts in minutes, not days. So this is the objectives of what I'm going to go through today. So first I'm going to talk about what this tool is good for. I'm going to give a quick demo of the system, what you'll need to run this tool, how to import an N8N workflow. I'm setting up the Google Sheet that runs this tool. I'm setting up the writing style guide and brand questionnaire, a detailed walkthrough of the N8N workflow, and then help and what I can offer. So first thing, why use this tool? In my view, it's perfect for reverse, what Carl Roofs talks about as reverse silo content. So blog posts that basically support your product and service pages. So it can also create power pages as it creates very long form content. So it's really top or middle of the funnel type of content is best for this particular tool. So I'll give you a quick demo of the system. So first I'll talk about this content brief summary. So the tool runs through a Google Sheet. So for the content brief summary, basically what you need to do is give it a keyword. You put in a URL slug, title, description, and then your 3 competitors. And then what drives the automation is just this trigger column over here. So when you change this to get content brief, the automation should run. And that's there's this code that's been set up within the Google Sheet. So this script that runs the automation. So this is the whole N8N workflow. So when I test this workflow like this, and then I change this to get content brief, this workflow you see will start running. So it scrapes the competitors' URLs, extracts the HTML, merges all that HTML together and aggregates it all. Then this step here will extract all of the HTML. Then it actually has a detailed script within here that writes a content brief. It then creates a folder in Google Drive, creates a doc in Google Drive, and then updates this content brief content within that doc. And then what it does is it goes back and updates this sheet. This should change to content brief complete, and it should give a URL. So that's where the content brief will sit. So I'll just pause and wait for this workflow to finish. So yeah, the workflow is finished, and this has changed to content brief complete, and it's got the content brief here now. I'll just quickly. It converts everything into Markdown format, so you do have to copy. You have to copy all this content and then paste it back in from Markdown. So I'll just quickly. It's taking a bit of time to load. So you select all, copy it, and then paste from Markdown. For whatever reason, that doesn't appear to be working, so I'll just fix that quickly. Okay, so this is the content brief. So it gives a suggested word count, what the search tense is. So this is probably not a good keyword that I've chosen because it's bottom of the funnel. It gives a page goal, target persona, story component, page format options, meta description, H1 ideas, gives a content outline and kind of suggests what type of content should come under each of these sections here. It gives a long content outline It gives entity ideas, semantic search ideas, a list table or data ideas, information gain ideas, EAT ideas, FAQ ideas, external links, and media ideas. Gives competitor weaknesses, competitor strengths, and then opportunities for the page. So, in my view, this content brief is pretty good. You could give this to an SEO writer if you didn't use the system to generate the content, and this would give them a pretty good head start. So I will then touch on now the next part of the tool, which creates the actual content based on this content brief. So that's all driven in exactly the same way from this content summary. So there are a few things you need for here. You need a writing style guide, a brand questionnaire. The hub URL is just the internal link that you like. So this would be the service page or the product. The folder URL you want to grab from Drive folder ID. And you just want to copy that into here. And the content brief ID you also want to copy. I've got a formula in here to just extract that automatically. So you have the location and then the keyword also. And so this automation is driven in the same way. You just change this from waiting to write content, and then the automation will run. So I'll just go test this workflow again, and this is the content writing automation. I'm just going to test this workflow and change this to write content again. So what it's doing is it's getting the content brief that we did in this section. It's getting the writing style guide. It's getting the brand questionnaire. It's then running through Perplexity and getting stats. It's getting quotes. It's getting case studies, and then it's getting just some general information. So that's the research section that it's doing there. Then here it writes a first draft. It then does an EAT analysis. So it takes Google's guidelines for EAT, and it runs through each of those guidelines and checks it against the content, and then has suggestions for improving the content. It then rewrites this first draft. And what it does is it goes back into this file, looks at all your previous posts, and chooses 5 internal links that would make the most sense. Adds those internal links. Then it does the same thing as in here. It creates a doc, updates the doc with the content that's been generated, and then it will update the sheet over here. And it will pull this URL in. So I will just pause this video because this does take a minute or two to run. You can see it's just generating this first draft, and this takes a couple of minutes to run each of these because it's producing long form content. So the workflow has finished now, and this content summary tab has been updated. So saying content's complete, and there's a link here to the document. So I just wanted to show you, this is my open router account. So I've taken a screenshot of everything that was used in this workflow, and then I've just asked for those costs to be added up. So this automation costs 27 cents. So this is the written content, and I guess the issue with this automation is that it's actually producing too much content. So you look at the word count here, it's 6,600 words. And then it's written in the first person, so you can see, when you read this, how it's kind of written. I believe everyone deserves for over 15 years. And then because a brand questionnaire has been put together, it's using the right brand name throughout the content. And then it's giving a very detailed article. Some of the things it actually does is almost make up clients. So it looks, in terms of the EAT kind of analysis, it looks really well written, because it looks like it's all been written by first-hand experience. So you can see how much content has been generated through this process. So yeah, that's a demo of the system. So if I go back, we did the content brief summary. I showed you the Google Sheet automations. I showed you the N8N workflow. I showed you the content brief doc that was produced. Showed you the content summary tab, previous post tab. I showed you the N8N workflow for the content generation. I showed you the final content. So next, I'll just briefly touch on what you'll need to run this whole system. So you'll need N8N. That's the automation software. It costs €24 per month. You'll need an Open Router account, and a $10 deposit at 30 cents article. That's going to give you 30 plus articles. And you need a Google account, specifically a Google Cloud platform setup. So that's what you'll need. In terms of importing the N8N workflow, how that works is simply you create a workflow. You click these. Oh, sorry. Click these three dots. You go import from file. You pick the JSON file, and then you just add it. And that adds in the entire workflow. So that's importing the N8N workflow. I will just make sure I didn't forget anything. Yeah, so you use this Authority Engine JSON file. You create a new workflow, three dots, yes, you import the file, and that's it, yep. So setting up the Google Sheet, let me just make sure I'm here. So you make a copy of the Authority Engine dashboard, so that's this Google Sheet. So I'll share this with you and make a copy of it. You'd then click on the extensions and apps script. So this here. Google's going to want you to authenticate that script. They're going to tell you that it's unsafe. So you'll need to click on like this little advanced, they make it difficult to approve, but there's a little advanced link that you click on, and then you have to follow that through and approve the script. What you're going to have to do is add a trigger. So within this automation, this code will be set up for you. And obviously you'll need to update these N8N webhook URLs to your own URLs. And then you would come in here and you'd create a trigger. So you'd have to just add a trigger, and it has to be the deployment to the head from a spreadsheet on edit. The function's an on edit function. And so once you've hit this trigger, once you've set up this trigger, these automations will work as I did in the demonstration. Yeah, so you update the content brief edit and write content edit scripts with your N8N webhook URL. So I did discuss that. So that's setting up the Google Sheet. Now setting up the writing guide and brand questionnaire. So I'll just pause this quickly and pull these two documents up and explain what they are. So I've opened up the brand questionnaire and the writing style guide, and this is for my dad's kitchen business. So this is the brand questionnaire. So you can see it gets you to fill out a lot of different information about the brand. When it was founded, where it's located, its core values. So it has a lot of information about the brand. And then there's a writing style guide as well that has a lot of the same information. But talks about the tone of voice, language guidelines, words that should be used or not used, and different formatting options. So the best way to complete these writing style guides and brand questionnaires for your clients is just to upload one of these docs. Please. Sorry, so I was saying the best way to produce the writing style guide and the brand questionnaire is to add these documents, to upload them into Perplexity AI, and then just say something along the lines of, please help me complete this writing style guide for this client, and then put the client's URL in. And that should give you like 90% of the writing style guide or brand questionnaire. Like it's a very good process. So that's the writing style guide and the brand questionnaire. Next thing I'll do is a detailed walkthrough of the N8N workflow. So just a couple of things here. So this webhook over here has been set up as a GET request. So you need to grab your test URL and you need to update this this code in your Google Sheet. So that code there. And then you'll have to click on test workflow, and then you'll update this column to say get write content or get content brief, and then the workflow should run, should trigger. So that's the first thing. If that doesn't work, something's wrong with your URL or your automation here. So then what you want to do is you'd want to run through each of these modules. So and to do that, you just click on the module and see what it does, and see if there's an error. If there's an error, there'll be this little red kind of issue there. So the problem here is it's not connecting to my OpenAI account. And so you'll have to go through and fix all of these issues. So what this URL does is, this is fairly straightforward. It just scrapes those three competitors and extracts the HTML from them, merges all that information together and aggregates it. And then, so the prompt here is, it extracts all of the text from those three URLs. Then the content brief has a detailed prompt, which basically tells it how to write that content brief. I'll just quickly show you the so what you'll have to do is you'll have to set up create new credential here for your OpenAI account. You'll need to use this base URL, openrouter.ai/API/v1, and you'll need to set up a new key. So keys in your OpenRouter. You need to set up a new one and copy that key in here, API key, and that should connect. With all of your Google accounts, what you'll have to do with those. So with each of your Google accounts, you will need to, you can see here, you have a client ID, a client secret, and OAuth redirect URL. So you will need to set all of that up in Google Cloud, the Google Cloud platform. So let me just open that up quickly and I'll show you. So this is the Google Cloud console. So you have to go in and separately approve all your different APIs. This is where you'll get your client ID and your client secret if you go through here. And then this is the OAuth consent screen. So this is where you have to add this OAuth redirect URL. So that's the Google section there. The rest of this workflow works almost exactly the same. There's a webhook. You have to set these up. You have to set these up to get the they automatically will pick up the information that comes through on the Google Sheet and then be able to get the content brief, style guide, brand questionnaire. These will all be set up with the same OpenAI account, so they'll all just work. And then, there's detailed prompts for each of these sections. So you can see the detailed prompt there, and it's using all the different data. So that's just how the N8N workflow works. So you'll have to trigger the webhook, run through each module and see what it does, then fix all the errors and remove any pinned data. So that's a walkthrough of the tool. The final section here, help and other offers. You can build this workflow yourself if you like, and I can provide this workflow as you saw in the demo through a JSON file, and all these supporting files. So this dashboard, the automation scripts, and the templates for the writing style guide and the brand questionnaire. So you can build that all yourself for 50 US. I'll provide all of these. If you want me to build this for you on your own accounts, I will charge 300 US. If you want me to just run articles for you from the system, it would be $5 an article with a minimum order of 10 articles. So $50 for that. So yeah, if you want any of these solutions, and I'm happy to help, please email me at ryhuff@gmail.com. Thanks for watching this video.